Hello, everyone. This is Colleen Lemma, starseed astrologer and spiritual messenger from sacredsoulempowerment.com, here to do your monthly intuitive reading for July 2021. For this month's monthly intuitive reading, we're going to be using the Syrian Starseed Tarot by Patricia Corey and Alyssa Bartha for the main message for everyone. And your special message card this month, depending on your stone of choice, is going to be coming from the Angels and Ancestors deck by Kyle Gray. So it's quite the day that I'm recording here today. We have a huge thunderstorm here in Florida, torrential downpours. It's actually been raining most days lately. This is my first taste of Florida weather in the summertime. So it's definitely quite the experience. The rain is coming down so hard you can't really see the road out there. So anyway, we are going to take a look at your stones of choice here for your special card for the month before we get into the numerological and astrological energies. I don't know if you can hear that thunder, boy, but I can. Okay, so our first stone of choice is a blue scheelite. Isn't that beautiful? It's a beautiful piece of scheelite. So this blue scheelite is one that helps a person to stay calm and composed. It helps to facilitate both shamanic and astral journeys, and it helps with widening one's psychic visions. Your second stone of choice for this month of July is Amazonite. And the Amazonite is a stone that helps to encourage good luck and fortune. It soothes the nervous system and our emotional body. And it helps with self-love and truth, prophecy, and psychic vision. And then our last stone of choice is this beautiful piece of chrysocolla. The chrysocolla brings harmony and wisdom and guidance. It helps to calm our energy, and it encourages clarity of thought. And it helps also with acceptance, tolerance, and increasing one's intuition. So again, our stones of choice are the blue scheelite, the Amazonite, or the chrysocolla. Okay, everybody. So let's start by talking about the energy vibration of the month of July. Okay, so as usual, we take the universal year energy for 2021, which adds up to the number 5. So that's the universal year energy, 5, all about change and redirection and ups and downs and just things coming unexpectedly and out of the blue, surprises, networking, looking at new opportunities and possibilities in our lives. This month of July, which is the 7th month, we take that number 7 of July and we add it to the 5, the universal year. That gives us the number 12. And in numerology, we typically reduce things down to a single digit unless it's a master or a karmic number. And in this case, 12 is neither of those things. So when we add 1 plus 2, we get the number 3. Now it's interesting because 3 is a number that rules prosperity and abundance and blessings. It rules creative self-expression, but it also rules the expansion principle, okay? The 3, if you look at how the number 3 is drawn, it's got that kind of outer edge of expansion. So the number 3 expands our perceptions, it expands our visions, it expands our creative self-expression. It expands pretty much any energy that it touches or that we have going on in our lives. So in other words, it doesn't look at things from good or bad, or as I like to say, good or not good perspective. The number 3 being a number of expansion or exaggeration is another way to say it. It just expands or exaggerates whatever energy we have going on. So again, if we're focused on prosperity and abundance and blessings and creative self-expression, then it expands those energies. But if we focus on the glass half empty and we focus on anxiety or fear or doubts or things aren't going right or any negative thought form or belief system or negative emotion or feeling, that number 3 energy is going to expand us into that. So it can expand us into some drama or chaos or any energy for that matter, as I just said. Now, the number 3 wants to be happy. It wants to be joyous. It wants to look at the glass half full. And it's the number of the inner child too. So I would say there's probably some inner child healing going on in this month of July with that number 3. We have the possibility of, again, bringing in blessings into our lives if we focus on and visualize what it is that we want to create. Because, again, it's the number of creative self-expression or creation. In the tarot, the number 3 is the Empress card. Okay? And the Empress card is about to give new birth to a new expression of energy. But even more so, we need to look at that number 12 as far as the 12th major arcana in the tarot. That's even more pertinent in this case, because as we add up that 5 universal year with the number 7, it really truly is the number 12. So what's the 12th major arcana in the tarot? It's the Hanged Man. I almost said the Hermit for some reason, but it's the Hanged Man. Okay, so what's the Hanged Man about? It's about surrender. It's about changing one's perspective. It's about letting go. Sometimes it feels with the Hanged Man that we're in suspended animation, or we're suspended in time, like nothing's really happening. We're kind of in this suspended mode, if you will. So there can be with the Hanged Man, in a positive sense, a metamorphosis going on. Again, a letting go and a surrendering to what is or what will be. And with the shadow side of the Hanged Man, we can get caught up in the ego and holding on to things and not looking at things from a higher perspective, but just looking at things from a physical or material perspective. You know, getting caught up again in the ego and the way the ego sees things. Now, I'm not at all in any way saying that the ego is bad. It's not. We have an ego. We need our ego. Our ego is part of our personality. It assists us with, moving forward in our lives. It assists us with a lot of things. But in this case, sometimes with the Hanged Man, or sometimes in general with the ego, it gets caught up in these mind perceptions of fear or doubt or lack. And so with the Hanged Man, and the Hanged Man kind of hangs upside down from a tree branch, right, in the tarot, in the traditional tarot. It's hanging upside down from a tree branch from one of its feet. So we need to look at things from an altered perspective. We need to look at things from a higher perspective. In this case, it seems like the Hanged Man is facing down, but we need to rise above and look at something from a different vantage point. Because what we're seeing in the world around us and what we're seeing on a collective level and what we're seeing in our own personal lives may not be the whole truth of our reality. Okay, so if we surrender and we allow and we shift our perception of what's going on or why it's going on or the timing of things, and we just kind of let go, we just let go, then that surrender energy of the Hanged Man is going to assist us in the long run as we move forward. So that's a little bit about the numerology of the month of July. Let's take a look at the astrological highlights of significance. So there is, to start out with Mars, the planet of energy and action, forward movement. The warrior is in fire sign Leo, so he's happy in Leo. But on the 1st of July, he's opposing Saturn, which can bring delays, which brings a feeling of restrictions or limitations or heaviness. And so there's this kind of, tug of war sort of energy, because Mars wants to move forward with something creative probably, or something where he's taking the lead, because again, it's Leo energy here. But Saturn's saying, wait a minute. Saturn's saying to have patience. Saturn's about third dimensional timing. So again, there might be some sort of delay with us moving forward. That happens on around the 1st. Now, by the 3rd, So 2 days later, Mars in Leo is actually challenging Uranus. And Uranus is about quick, sudden, unexpected changes. It's about redirection. It's about this lightning bolt experience of a new vision, a new way, a new mindset, or perhaps a new situation or circumstance. So there might be something unexpected happening. It's almost like there's a delay right at the first of the month, and by the third, something breaks free, something breaks loose, something changes. There's a freedom energy with Uranus, so that Mars the warrior is able to break free, but it's a challenging aspect, so it might come in an unpredictable way, like something may happen in an unpredictable way that we weren't expecting. It doesn't mean it's negative or bad, but there could be some surprises there. And on the 6th, Venus, who is also in Leo, is opposing Saturn. Now, Venus rules love and relationships and our personal resources, money, finances, our values. She's in Leo, so she's expressing her energy through that fire sign Leo. But on the 6th, she's opposing Saturn as well. So again, there's this feeling of being limited or restricted or held back in some way. And then by the 8th, 2 days later, she then is challenging Uranus. So there's something unexpected happening, a freedom energy that's happening, a redirection that's happening. In this case, again, with personal resources maybe, or with a creative project that she's involved in, some sort of creation, or in the love relationship department, because that's what she rules. Now, in between there, sandwiched in between, we have the sun, which is in Cancer for most of the month. This is the time of year that our sun is traveling through the sign of Cancer, which rules home and family and those people that we feel emotionally connected to. And Cancer rules our intuition, our empathic abilities, our listening and counseling abilities, caretaking. It even rules home and land. I mentioned home and family, but it rules land and property as well. And the sun is challenging Chiron on the 4th, the wounded healer. And Chiron, brings up past life wounds. And in this case, with it being in Aries, it's bringing up our past life wounds of our sense of self or self-identity or confidence or courage or independence. And again, because the sun is in Cancer, this may involve in some way, shape, or form family dynamics. And I'm bringing up that aspect because there is some other aspects throughout the month that also brings in that home and family type of energy, which we're going to get to in a minute. Well, the next thing I'm going to talk about is actually the new moon. And the new moon is in the sign of Cancer. It's at 18 degrees of Cancer on the 9th of July. So new moons are about new beginnings, and there's some sort of new beginning on an emotional level. Probably more so because Cancer is an emotional sign. It rules our emotions, our feelings, our subconscious. So there's a new beginning with new patterns, new subconscious patterns, a new beginning of a way of feeling, or a new beginning within home and family matters in some way. There's an initiation of some sort of energy here with home and family. 2 days later on the 11th, Mercury moves into Cancer. So now we have more energy in Cancer. And Mercury rules our thoughts, our perceptions, our ideas, our belief systems, speaking, teaching, writing, information, messages. So Mercury is going to be in Cancer from the 11th until the 27th of this month. Again, more interaction and communication with family or with things to do with family. Okay? And this can also increase our intuition too. Because again, Cancer is an intuitive sign. Mercury does rule the mind, so our clairaudience or our clairvoyance, those types of psychic gifts can also be intensified. On the 15th, we have Chiron turning to retrograde motion. So that's one of the other reasons why I brought up the sun challenging Chiron on the 4th, because Chiron is already slowing down to its stationary point, which intensifies and magnifies his energies. So again, it brings up these wounds, these past life wounds of the self. Who am I? What am I here to do? Am I owning my strength and my confidence? Am I taking the lead in my life and making things happen for myself? Am I owning my sense of independence or self-acceptance or self-sufficiency? So all of these things Chiron is going to magnify around the middle of the month. I'd say about a week before and maybe up to a week after especially, okay, that it's intensified to a higher level. And then on the 17th, the sun, still in Cancer, is now opposing Pluto, so there's some sort of death and rebirth, transformation or change, maybe a power and control issue, because Pluto rules that as well, with home and family matters, or within our own emotional nature, because Cancer rules the emotions. On the 19th, Mercury, now in Cancer, is challenging Chiron. So again, we have some maybe communication challenges going on that's bringing up some old wounds, some old Chiron wounds. Now remember, with Chiron, with all these things we're talking about Chiron, there's opportunities for healing those past life wounds. So there's an opportunity to heal our sense of self, to heal the communication within the family dynamic. On the 21st, Venus is now moving out of Leo, and she's moving into Virgo, Earth sign Virgo. So she's going to become more discerning about money and finances and love and relationships. She might be a little bit more critical or perfectionistic regarding these as well. She's going to be in Virgo until August 16th. Okay, kind of bringing in again more of this detailed, paying attention to the small things, the nuances and what's going on within those areas of life: love, relationships, money, finances, personal resources. On the 22nd, the sun is moving into Leo, which is the time of year that the sun moves out of Cancer and into Leo. But now for the next month, from the 22nd until around the 21st, 22nd of August, the sun being in Leo shines its light through the lens of creative self-expression and generosity and the inner child, okay? And then on the 25th, Mercury in Cancer is opposing Pluto. So remember, on the 17th, the sun in Cancer opposed Pluto. Now we have Mercury opposing Pluto. Again, bringing up maybe some sort of power and control issue in communication with a family member or someone that we have a close emotional bond with, or we're struggling within our own emotions and our own thoughts, because the Cancer rules the emotions, but it's Mercury, which is in Cancer, which rules our thoughts and our perceptions. So we might be struggling within ourselves and needing to take our power back from some old belief system or subconscious pattern. And then the 28th, this is probably the biggest thing of the month. On the 28th of July, Jupiter is moving retrograde. It went retrograde towards the end of June. And Jupiter rules blessings and expansion in our belief systems. It's that exaggeration energy. Jupiter kind of, again, exaggerates or expands whatever energy it touches. So on the 28th, it's moving retrograde from Pisces back into Aquarius. And that's kind of a big deal. It stays in each sign of the zodiac for approximately a year. But it left Aquarius, I believe it was sometime last fall, towards the end of 2020, and went into Pisces. But now it's going to retrograde back into Aquarius, where it's going to stay in Aquarius until, I think it's almost the end of December, like 2 or 3 days before the end of December. It's going to be in Aquarius for that long before it moves back into Pisces for good. It actually stays retrograde in Aquarius until the middle of October. And then when it turns back to direct motion, I believe at 23 degrees of Aquarius, mid-October, then it stays in Aquarius until, again, the very end of December before moving back into Pisces for good. So when it went retrograde, like around just after the middle of June, it went retrograde at 2 degrees of Pisces. So it wasn't that far into Pisces. But if you remember the second half of June and Jupiter expanding those energies of Pisces as it was stopping and getting ready to shift, because it was intensifying the energies before it went retrograde, it really expanded confusion and illusion and things not being clear or focused or grounded within our lives. And that's that Pisces energy. Pisces is a beautiful energy. It's all about unconditional love and compassion and forgiveness and artistic endeavors, spiritual endeavors. And it's just a beautiful, wonderful energy. But the shadow side of Pisces, now I did see some of the positive aspects of that Pisces energy being expanded too, but I saw also the shadow side of the illusion, the confusion, the delusion, the lack of clarity, not being even in connection with our own intuitive natures for a short time, kind of getting muddled information and muddled messages and not being able to see clearly or intuit clearly what the right decision was. So anyway, now it's moving back into Aquarius, and it's going to expand those Aquarius energies again, which is all about the humanitarian and getting together or coming together with groups of like-minded people for a common goal or a common vision. Aquarius rules scientific advances, and it rules technology. So Jupiter can kind of expand in those last 5 or so months of this year of 2021. It may expand our technological advances or scientific advances, and it may again bring an expansion of more people coming together, finding our tribe, finding those people that we connect with spiritually, that we have, you know, the same kind of common goals in mind for the collective, that we can come together in groups, whether it be physical groups or even more so online groups, because we're scattered all over the world, where we can come together and figure out how we can move the collective forward in the best possible way, because Aquarian energy is very futuristic oriented, and it's the humanitarian. So it's about service on a collective or group level, not necessarily service on a one-to-one personal level. It's a group focused service that's going on here. And Aquarius is an energy where we connect to the God mind energy, or the intelligence of the universe. And so we can open up our crown chakra. Whenever I think of Aquarius, I think of opening up that crown chakra in order to channel through the higher vision, the higher knowledge, the higher wisdom of the universe to move forward in the best possible way for the collective. So all of these energies, these are the highlights, you know, of the energies of the month of July. And again, for those of you that might be new popping on for the first time, I look at more of the astrological energies in the weekly intuitive forecast week to week. So you might want to look at those as well to hear even more about what's going on astrologically. So that's a little bit about the numerology, the astrology. Let's go ahead and take a look at what our angels and guides have to say, messages from them for this month. So I already meditated. I already chose 3 cards, which ended up being 4 cards because the second card came out as 2, which often happens. So let's look at the first card here. Let's turn that over. Okay, so we have Major Arcana 18, and as I show this card, the moon, it dawns on me that I don't think I talked about the full moon and the new moon this month. I think I did talk about the new moon, right? I did say the new moon was at 18 degrees of Cancer on the 9th, but I somehow missed saying that the full moon is actually the day after the sun moves into Leo on the 22nd. We have a full moon on the 23rd at 1 degree of Aquarius. Okay, so full moons are about completion and healing and releasing. And it moves us into the early degrees of that Aquarian energy that I just described and talked about. So here we start out this month's reading with the message about Luna, the moon. So this could, in fact, be telling us that there's something around the full moon, because it is definitely quite clearly a full moon here. There might be something coming to a head emotionally in this full moon. And, you know, the water represents our emotional bodies, our emotional natures. The tides of the ocean rise during the full moon. The tides of our own emotional nature rises with the full moon. So this is definitely saying that there's going to be an intensity around this full moon this month. And since it's part of the reading and it's actually the first card, this may be just talking about an intensity of our emotions perhaps all month, because again, Cancer rules our emotions and emotional body. And, you know, we have the sun in Cancer for most of the month, and Mercury's in Cancer for part of the month. So we definitely have some Cancer energies going on. The Luna card, or the moon card, also deals with our subconscious patterns, our subconscious, even fears and anxieties that are part of the subconscious. So again, these might be on the rise. There might be a surgence of these energies coming up and bubbling up to the surface, rising to the surface to make itself known. This could, in fact, deal with some home and family patterns. So thinking back to when you grew up in the home and family system that you grew up in, and maybe some of the things that are going on in your life now, the challenge or the situations, the circumstances that are happening in your lives now. Is there anything that goes back to old subconscious patterns in growing up with the home and family that you grew up in and around, parents, grandparents, and brothers, sisters, or any other significant members of that family tribe that you grew up with? So pay attention to your intuitive abilities also expanding and rising, your empathic abilities. You're going to be more empathic with feeling other people's emotions and feelings also in this month, and especially around the full moon. And again, take a look at some of those patterns, those subconscious patterns that are at play. So let's take a look at the next card. This is the first of the two cards that came out as the second card. Okay, so we have the Three of Orbs. This is like the Three of Swords. The orb suit is the sword suit in the traditional tarot. So the Three of Swords, swords is the ego mind. Swords brings in our thoughts and our perceptions. And the three, as I mentioned earlier, the three expands energy. The number three is a number of expansion. So it's expanding our mental energy, and quite clearly here with the lightning bolt in the typical Three of Swords card, it's usually one of challenge. Like it's expanding our doubts, our fears. It's expanding our not being in a good place mentally speaking, that we're getting caught up in, kind of the hamster wheel of our thoughts, and we're getting anxious and fearful about the future or what's going to happen. But we don't have to go that way, right? Remember the three? We can choose what we expand into. So instead of expanding into some of those shadow qualities, look at the break in the clouds here in the corner. There's a break in the clouds. There's a possibility that we can expand our energies on the light. We can expand our energies on clarity. We can expand our perceptions into a more optimistic viewpoint of what's going on, both in our lives as well as on a collective level. And there might be some sudden unexpected realizations happening, right? Lightning bolts happen very quick and suddenly. So some sort of sudden aha moment, some sort of sudden clarity that comes in like a lightning bolt of energy, making things all too clear. We might be caught in the storm clouds here for a while, but the lightning bolt comes in and gives us that break in the clouds, that clarity of vision, the clarity of seeing the truth within our lives on some level, in some situation, right? Let's see what comes out with this card, maybe to gain further information. Okay. So we have the Master of Crystals. The Master of Crystals, this is like the King of Pentacles. The King of Earth or the King of Pentacles. That's the crystal suit. So what is the king? The king is the leader. The king is the one that's in charge. The king has a sense of an air of authority about him. And in this case, the crystals, the pentacles, the earth suit, he's got authority over the dominion of the material realm. So not just money and finances, but also job, career, home, family, those things that are tangible that we live in on a third dimensional level on a day-to-day basis. He's taking charge. He's the master of whatever's happening in his life. Okay? He is assured. He is confident. He's taking charge with clarity, because look at this crystal skull. It's like all clear and lit up and beautiful with this golden white light. So he's having that mental clarity which follows, right? So we might be kind of in the stormy darkness for part of this month, but again, there's this potential for this lightning bolt flash of clarity that comes in, and then us being able to take charge of our negative thoughts, our negative perceptions, our negative belief systems, and in that moment of clarity, bring that clarity all throughout our being, letting that golden white light shine upon all of our being and kind of highlight and clarify our direction, or highlight and clarify a situation or whatever might be happening. But this is definitely a good sign here, okay? That golden white light, the background, the sky, if you will, is all lit up in beautiful colors of gold and orange, okay? So there's definitely something, we're moving into a positive direction at some point here during the month of July. We're taking charge. We're able to make things happen. We're able to be more confident. Let's take a look at the last card here. And the last card, oh, lovely card to end the month with. This is the Ace of Flames. It's like the Ace of Wands, the Ace of Fire. The aces are about new beginnings, okay? Now, the new moon, which is about new beginnings, is earlier in the month, and we, towards more the end of the month, have that full moon, which is more about endings, releasing, letting go. So I want to say that this Ace of Flames is going to transport us into the month of August. Like there's something, whatever this new beginning is, and the flames, the fire, the wands, that's the spiritual level. So there's a new beginning on a spiritual level. Again, there's new clarity. Something's being highlighted for us. We're able to be more energized, more inspired, more creative. But I feel like this might be going in towards the new moon of August, okay? Because that new moon in August is going to be in Leo, which is a fire sign, just like this is fire. So I feel like, again, if we can hold out until that new moon in August, then we're going to see, more positive energies coming in. We're going to see some new beginning. We're going to feel, again, more confident, more inspired, more creative, and be able to move in a more positive direction with this Ace of Flames. Okay, let's go ahead and see what your special message card is, depending on your stone of choice, everybody. Okay, so the first stone was the blue scheelite. Okay, so blue scheelite, people. Special message for blue scheelite. So every once in a while I open my eyes to see if there's one that kind of stands out. And actually this one, just feeling-wise, is calling my attention. So blue scheelite, people. Animal guardian. Love that. Animal guardian. It says at the bottom, trust your, what does it say? Trust your instincts. Oh my goodness. It's kind of dark in here because it's thundering and storming outside. So trust your instincts, right? Animals have instincts. It's almost like humans having intuitions, right? We have an instinctive nature as well. It's called our gut feeling, right? Our gut feeling, that solar plexus chakra where our gut is, that's where our gut feeling comes from. That's where our instincts are, right? And that owl above the animal guardian's head is a golden colored owl. So listen to and trust your instincts, right? Even if you feel like you're not totally in touch with your intuition these days, if something's going on with that, listen to your body, right? The animal instincts. The animals go with their senses, they have bodily kind of reactions, right? These instincts deep within. So listen to the body. Is your gut telling you something, right? In a situation, if you have to make a decision, for instance, and you think about making the first, taking the first road, or making the first decision rather than the second, how does your body feel when you think about moving in that direction? And sit with that for a couple of minutes, and then go with the second decision, the second road that you can possibly travel in making a choice about something. And sit with that for a couple of minutes. How does your body feel? Does your body feel more relaxed or excited or energized with one decision over the other? Does your body feel more like you're feeling tight, you're clenching up, maybe feeling a little nauseous, that kind of thing. So listen to those animal instincts, those bodily instincts. And the owl is about wisdom too. The owl is about getting in touch with your higher soul self, the inner wisdom within yourself, and listening to that, right? It's kind of using those powers of discernment. It's sort of like marrying, if you will, or merging the intuitive with the logical. So that's what I think about when I think about, the owl. I think about kind of inner shaman energies, inner intuition, connecting with our higher soul self, being the wise woman within, and listening to both what seems logical, but also what seems is your intuition is telling you. So it's not all logical, it's not all intuitive. You're kind of looking and kind of merging both of those aspects here. She also has a baby deer. Oh, she's got lots of animals here. She's got a baby deer in her hands. So the deer, one way to define the deer is being lured to something new. The deer lures us to new pursuits, to learn something new. She's got a black panther in the background over here. And the black panther, mystery, magic, power, owning your power, taking back your power. And then we have some sort of a bird over here, although I'm not sure what kind of bird it is. Maybe it's a crow, which can be about magical messages coming from spirit. And again, we have that wonderful owl of wisdom and inner guidance here at the top. So, great messages for you, for the She-Light people. Now we're going to move on to the Amazonite people. Special message for those that chose the Amazonite. Okay, that one just popped right out when I shuffled, so I'm going to pull that one. Amazonite. Night. It says night. Be brave and honest. Okay? So that Chiron healing and, Chiron shifting to retrograde motion, intensifying those energies. A couple of those planets, the Sun, Mercury, connecting with Chiron, healing those wounds of self-confidence and courage and independence and leadership and taking charge. This, to me, is what this night is about. So you might be healing some of those wounds of the self and regaining your sense of confidence, regaining your sense of knowing what's right for you and moving forward, right? The knight knows what's right for him. He stays in a place of integrity and honor, and he moves forward. Be brave and honest. And so there's a thing with honesty here too. Needing to be honest and truthful. I'd say with other people too, but I think this is being honest and truthful with yourself first and foremost. I mean, that may then domino effect out to needing to be truthful and honest with other people, but you need to be truthful and honest with yourself first, knowing what you're feeling, knowing what you need, knowing what's right for you. And once you have that, once you're honest with yourself and you know what the truth is for yourself, then you have the conversation with whoever else, friend, family, loved ones, that you need to have to share that insight, that truth with other people. So have that confidence and be brave, because once you discover your truth and you're honest with yourself, you may need to share that with others as well. He's got a sword in his hand too, right? And the sword, the suit of swords, is the mental realm. So again, it kind of talks about new perceptions, new ways of thinking, new communication, right? And, he's not fighting with it. He's just holding on to it. So again, it's like self-communication, right? Truth. He's in white. Truth. Honesty, right? Spiritual color, white, right? And gold, higher vibrational crown chakra color of gold, opening up to higher wisdom and knowledge, higher truth, okay? All right, and for those of you that chose the Chrysocolla, so special message for Chrysocolla people, special message. This one's sticking up, so that's going to be Chrysocolla. So now we have Earth Guardian. We had Animal Guardian for the Blue She-Light people. Now the Chrysocolla people have Earth Guardian, and it says, stay rooted and grounded. I'm sure a lot of you out there are saying, you need to get glasses, Colleen. Stay rooted and grounded. Okay, so the Earth Guardian, there's a lot of green in this card, which Mother Earth Gaia, right? Green grass, green trees, green. But the green relates to the heart chakra. So opening up that heart chakra to unconditional love, unconditional compassion, healing, forgiveness. So stay rooted and grounded in the heart chakra. Stay rooted and grounded in the energy of unconditional love. And stay rooted and grounded as far as, the earth plane reality. In other words, I'm getting like escapism, like some of you just want to escape from what's going on around you. You want to kind of numb out or escape or just float and create in your mind or visualize, which there's nothing wrong with. Meditation kind of brings us right to that higher spiritual realm. But this is saying something a little bit different. I mean, it's okay to envision and meditate and do all of those things, right? But also stay rooted and grounded in your truth, and stay rooted and grounded in yourself, and stay rooted and grounded for the other people in your life, because maybe they need you. They need your attention. They need your focus. They need your stability, which is another good word, stability, right? Earth. The earth beneath our feet gives us stability and security. And so we need to find that stability and security within ourselves. And one great way to do that is by earthing. This is the Earth Guardian. So if we go out and stand on the earth in our bare feet, go out and stand barefoot on the beach, go out and stand barefoot in the middle of the woods. Hopefully where you're at, it's not wintertime and there's a bunch of snow, but even then you could stand outside for maybe a minute or two before having to come indoors. I wouldn't suggest taking a walk out in the snowy woods and doing it, but as you walk on the earth in your bare feet, there's a connection, an energy that helps to root you and ground you in who you are and what you're doing and what you need to do in order to move forward. I'm also getting that some of you are here to help the earth, that you're actually earth guardians. So going out and helping Mother Nature, or, cleaning up the environment, or sending healing love and light to Earth Mother Gaia. So, honor that message, that pull as well, to be a guardian of the earth, to bring healing, this green, emerald green healing energy to the earth. Okay, everyone, thank you so much for tuning into the monthly reading. So make sure you're also tuning into that weekly reading, which is obviously every week. It's usually published on YouTube on Fridays, but then I usually post it on my Facebook pages. I have 2 pages. Usually post them there on Sunday. So, sending you all lots of love and light. I want to thank all of you for your love and your support. And we'll see each other in the next weekly and or monthly reading. So namaste, everyone. Blessings.